disasters can have on our mental health. We're joined by Lisa Palmer. She's a psychotherapist and founder of the RenewMe Center of Florida. Lisa, you know, we've been talking to people covering this hurricane, people experiencing it since it happened, and I just wonder, what kind of trauma can people who are losing everything, can't get to their homes, can't find a solution, what kind of trauma does all of that come with?
Lots of it. Definitely feeling unsafe, unprotected, confused, feeling a sense of helplessness, all very, common feelings that somebody would have. And of course, with this catastrophic situation, they're going to be in a survival mode. So they're very much in crisis right now.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to ask you, because I feel like if we were to talk to anybody going through this right now, they would say, I don't have time to worry about my feelings or to cry about this. I'm trying to pick up the pieces of my home. How do you suggest people address their feelings in the right time without feeling like they're taking time away from things that are essential?
Yeah, so this is a time of crisis, and really, like you said, people aren't ready to just sit down and talk about it and really process it because they're in this survival mode. And during these, dark periods of our life and these storms of our life, we're really called to go within ourselves and to find faith, right? And the mustard seed is the smallest seed, and if we compare that to just this little faith that we can find within ourselves and this little bit of hope, we can turn to resources and turn to support. A lot of people turning to each other, and that really lights, a path of hope for them to rebuild what is destroyed around them.
Yes, the faith of a mustard seed. Lisa quoting Bible on us today. Yes. Okay. So, I also wonder, though, because this isn't like the first hurricane to hit Florida, probably not the last in this season, right? How does the repetition of this impact people? And can that lead to people then maybe doing something to prepare themselves emotionally for things like this?
Yeah, so anytime you have a repeated pattern and you are experiencing a trauma all over again, it gets worse and worse for you. So all of those feelings and sensations that I mentioned before would just be heightened, right? But at the same time, if we've experienced something before, we also have the knowledge and the insight and maybe some better judgment of like how we can prepare for the future. So it is sort of a double-sided coin on that end. But as far as the trauma and the survival piece of it, you really do need healing, because even long after the trauma is over, the incident is over, you're still left with what happened to you. And we often see that even as many years pass, people can still feel the reverberations of incidences that happened to them in the past.
Yeah. Lisa, what are the consequences of not dealing with something like this? Because you're functional, you're fine, you're making it to the grocery store, all the kids are where they're supposed to be. But if you don't deal with this, what do you fear people will then be left with?
Well, there is a huge sense of grief and loss, and this feeling that at any point in time that something could come into your life and just wipe everything that you've built away. And there's that definite sense of helplessness, and that feeling of that impending doom can really affect people not being able to move forward in their lives, like fearing success, fearing making moves, fearing that if they build something that at any moment it could be destroyed. And that could follow them in different areas of themselves, not just where they live, but in their careers and their relationships. So they're really dealing with grief and loss, and that is a part of them that does need to be healed.
Yeah. I have to ask you something, and I feel like everyone who is not impacted by hurricanes has this conversation every time hurricanes happen, and it's about why people decide not to leave. If you're not there, then you go, of course you leave, something dangerous is happening, why chance it? But every time we see people on television who decide to stay with their homes for various reasons, explain to us psychologically, emotionally, why people may choose to stay with their homes or stay in their communities during storms like this.
Well, I mean, your home represents safety, and a lot of us feel safety with our things, and we want to hold on to our things, and we feel a sense of identity with our things. So the idea that we could lose it because of something else, be it a storm, be it a divorce, be other storms in our life, is something that is very difficult for us and scary, and causes us a lot of grief. So our sense as humans is we want to attach to things, but as a lot of the Zen Buddhists talk about we have to detach, because it's in that attachment to things that creates a lot of grief within us. So this also calls us to look at what's really important in our lives and to not put so much weight on things to define us, but really to look within ourselves to find that light from within ourselves and build from that place.
Yeah. It's a tough challenge that you don't know about till you go through it. So we got to try our best not to judge people as they make those choices. Lisa Palmer, thank you so much for coming here and providing this amazing insight. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.